and there are many questions floating around the internet about what's holding up the Pi network's open mainnet. We bring you at Ask Me Anything, AMA, session with the Pi Core team in this video. The session will cover everything you need to know about the open mainnet and what has been holding up its launch, as well as recent Pi network predictions and how you can still become a millionaire using Pi network.
Hi everyone. There's a lot of questions and little time, so I will start by going down the list and hopefully we can get through as many of them, if not all of them. Will there be a place in the app to see how much of the total supply is still available for mining? Yes, of course. There will be on Pi Block Explorer initially and maybe in the app later. Actually, there is already a place in the Pi Block Explorer called the circulating supply, and from that you can deduct everything else based on the updated white paper. Will the locked up Pi be included in the circulating supply or not? Yes, based on our research so far, it seems that all other in other blockchains, any locked up balance is included in the circulating supply. Will the lockups have a countdown timer that pioneers can refer to in order to see how much time the lockup will be in effect for? Yes, short answer is yes. There will be a list of all prior lockups and when they expire, and in that list you will be able to also see how the calculation, how they affect the calculation of the total lockup booster. Suppose I am KYC'd and created a wallet 3 days back, but I forgot the private key and can't create a new wallet due to the 1 week limit. What if my Pi balance is transferred to that recently created wallet where I don't remember the private key? I guess the answer to this question is that because we'll have this confirmation, so the person will just simply wait, rather than, if they really lost the key, they have to wait for a week before they push the button to say, I want to transfer to Mainnet now. I want to start transferring to Mainnet now. If they lose the key to their wallet after they pressed the button, well, that's similar to losing it at any time in Mainnet. Yeah, there will be a process for changing your wallet for future transfers.
And I want to make it clear, I mean, that's the nature of blockchain. Every good thing comes with its own negatives. The fact that you have full control, non-custodial, is that there is no other way, for, like in the case of loss of keys. And what we can do, of course, is trying to design systems that try to prevent that. But the fact that it's a blockchain, it comes with those its benefits and its disadvantages. And a lot of people lost their Bitcoin because of they lost their private keys. What can they do? They can't do anything.
Unfortunately. Will there be a notification that will let us know in advance about the upcoming balance transfer so that pioneers can alter lock settings before the transfer is initiated and finalized in the Mainnet wallet? Yeah, so we're thinking that there will be a button to initiate the migration, as I mentioned earlier. So after this button is pressed, then there will be continuous transfers that will be happening automatically based on the current lockup setting. So the lockup setting can be changed as many times as you want before you push that button. And once you push that button, the first transfer transfers will be happening whenever they're happening. And then if you're changing the lockup settings, the new transfers will be getting whatever the current lockup setting is. So there will be no surprise in that respect. If now in terms of notifications when you receive, probably there will be notifications. There's currently notifications to people on the Pi browser when you receive when you receive Pi So in the same way, you will receive Pi and you will receive a notification that says X amount of Pi arrived in your wallet. Go check it out. And yeah, there will be a notification after, at the moment of transfer. Is the system geared up to only have one wallet per Pioneer, or will we be able to define and use multiple wallets inside of the app? So the initial preference we have is to just have one for simplicity, but in the future we can have multiple if we want. In fact, the design, I don't know if you remember, historically we initially had a different layout for passphrases and keys. The reason one of the reasons we changed to this new system that uses passphrases is because with the same passphrase you can have multiple wallets, and you don't need to have multiple private keys. You can have multiple Pi wallets. You can even have Bitcoin wallets if you want. So essentially you can have whatever addresses you want with the same passphrase, and that's why we find this new system that we created a lot more powerful. So technically it is possible. Product wise, let's get everyone to understand the system with just one wallet for now, and I'm sure in the years to come there will be reasons for extending it and expanding it, and all sorts of connectivities, and you know, for security, for privacy, whatever reasons, people will be able to potentially create more. But I don't want to promise that right now. It will all be a part of a product design. Will there be a place in the app to see how many KYC users we have in the community? Yeah, the answer is maybe. The wallets actually are publicly viewable on the blockchain anyways. So at least the strict subset of people who've KYC'd and have already migrated to Mainnet will be publicly accessible on the blockchain. So you can just count how many wallets they're there. But we may come up with an even nicer UI, maybe somewhere in the app or on the main page that just displays the count. Maybe we'll have a page that displays the count of KYC pioneers, the count of nodes, the count of people in, you know, with different things, the amount of Pi locked, like different stuff. But worst case scenario, just look at the blockchain and it's there. Okay, when and how will the KYC validator receive Pi rewards? The short answer is when we know how much these rewards need to be. But let me explain and clarify. So at the moment, we're asking pioneers to pay 1 Pi as the cost to their KYC process. Now, this 1 Pi needs to cover several validation steps that were taken by multiple people. So not just one validator. It's not enough that one validator says, yes, this is correct. It has to be at least several. There is an algorithm that decides based on how much they agree with each other and who says who agrees and the previous history of its validator. It depends. It will have either few or more validate or more consensus votes essentially necessary. So the steps may include things like verify that this ID is a valid ID of that specific country, or verify that this picture matches the picture on the ID, or verify, or if the data was not, if our AI algorithm was not able to extract automatically the data from the ID, then we need to verify that this data actually matches the validator. A human validator will have to basically do that extraction. And we also may have to involve those validators with the potential name appeals that are happening, that pioneers have applied for. So that we can have a human basically review every appeal. Now we need to let this process run and find what is the average amount of work that happens for every one person who KYCs. So we have to let at least several thousand people finish KYCing first to get an accurate estimate of that number, so that then we can assign a value to how much pi each one of these steps will be attributing to the validator. So for the time being, all that pi that is accumulated goes into a pool, and once we have the accurate estimate of the amount of pi that needs to go into each piece of work, we will